We're live from the Dillon Stadium this evening as we have a great event on hand. Hartford Athletic taking a break from USL Championship League action and presenting an international friendly tonight as they take on the national side of Puerto Rico. We're live from Hartford. Chris Winningham alongside Devin Kerr for commentary of this one. It is a friendly between Hartford Athletic, the USL Championship side, and Puerto Rico, who will begin CONCACAF Nations League play in less than a month. And Devin, this is a great night on top of the fact that Hartford is one of the biggest and most burgeoning Puerto Rican communities in all of the United States. It is opportunity as well to raise some money for hurricane relief efforts and as well for local charities that support Puerto Rican causes.
Phenomenal cause. Let's start with Hurricane Maria, Category 5 hurricane who decimated Puerto Rico back in 2017. It was the 10th most intense storm all time, and that is some ridiculous history coming at you. There's a good look at Luke Bronin, the mayor of Hartford. Had an opportunity last night, brought the two clubs out, took them on Pratt Street, went for a nice little walk, get involved in the community, see some of the local establishments, some shopping. You know, the boys took it in, they enjoyed themselves. Little American ice cream, why not throw it in there for some fun? But most importantly, a great cause. I think it's real easy for us to forget that this went on almost 2 years ago. People are still trying to get back to their everyday lives. And infrastructure needs to be built there. A lot still required. And also, it's one of those things, awareness is not always necessarily a new thing. This is still a lingering problem. But let's talk about one of the players for the Puerto Rican national side, Jacob Conde, who grew up in Hartford and gets a chance to play at one of his local stadiums. Local boy that, you know, really credits his father, Rafael, to everything that he's been given. A native graduate of one of the local high schools, and an opportunity for the 6th time to represent his country, and for an awesome cause, I might add. His father, by the way, has never seen him play at the international level. So really cool opportunity within his home state to come home, get a good chance, and why not make yourself relevant to the coach when you got qualifying coming up.
And we'll pick up his 6th international cap tonight. Great event on the way from the Dillon Stadium. It's Hartford Athletic and the Puerto Rican national side when we come back. Hartford Athletic and Puerto Rico, the national side, in a friendly midseason for Hartford in the middle of their USL Championship campaign. Last time out, losing by 5-1, down to 9 men against New York Red Bulls 2. But a really cool night tonight at the Dillon Stadium. The mayor of the city is on hand in Luke Bronin, so should be a fun occasion. And here are the teams, starting first for Jimmy Nielsen's Hartford Athletic. An introduction into the team as Cody Cropper comes in, the loanee from New England Revolution, will start in goal. Some interesting shakeups going on behind the scenes, but we'll talk more about that in the future. Cody Cropper just hasn't really been able to break into the squad for the Revolution. An opportunity to come over and, you know, get some playing time. Alex Davey coming back. We know that he picked up the red card on the weekend against Red Bull 2, but he'll
step on the backside, Logan Gadula. I mean, the back four, very talented group. Again, this is all for charity. They want to have something fun, but also instill confidence in their boys. We like to see what Vucek and Waj, as he goes by, and Jose Angulo up top, what they will do with their chance on the starting 11.
You'll see the reintroduction of Matt Jorgensen into the team, the Dane, 21 years of age. And here is the Puerto Rican national team. Sidney Rivera used to play in USL with Louisville City and Reno 1868, and will play in wide areas for Puerto Rico tonight.
Nicholas Cardona, one of the boys in the lineup from Assumption College. He and Juani O'Neill up top. They have a relationship with each other. And a good chance to just continue on. Again, a lot of these guys, I think the best bet was what you said is they've got qualifying coming up.
Yep.
So not only is it a great cause, they're coming out trying to raise money and relief fund from the hurricane, but also you want to showcase to your manager what your skills and talents are. And guys like Condé that we talked about has not been in the focal point on a regular basis. Now given a chance, what do you do with that going forward?
And for Puerto Rico as well, struggling in national team action in CONCACAF Nations League. They had their qualifying campaign. 34 nations in CONCACAF did, and they were the only one that did not score a goal in 4 matches. 3 1-0 losses to St. Kitts and Nevis, Martinique, and Belize, and a 2-0 loss to Grenada. They have to start finding goals in their team.
All the more reason guys like Juani O'Neill you see exchanging right now with Vucek. Little coin toss. Heads, boys. That's always the easy one to go with.
Wow, you're not a tails never fails, guys?
It just depends on the weather. Today feels good, not a lot of humidity. I feel like I can throw this up, live with it. Regardless, we're in a win-win. Again, charity effort, we're all happy.
I like how much thought you put into this. Now, in terms of this Puerto Rico side as well, other USL experienced players, Devin Vega, he comes and he's 20 years of age. Interesting to see Elhi Morales in the pre-match talking to the Puerto Rican press, saying we wanted to bring in some experience, but also some youth. There's some teenagers in this national side, including 17-year-old Rodolfo Zulia, who will play in the center of defense.
The goalkeeper's only 25 years old, lefty Milan. And a lot of these guys, you'll see some of the young leagues. There's a look at Devin Vega, number 12 on the left side. There's Jacob Condé. But there'll be some of the local leagues. Bayamon FC comes into mind when you think about them. How about Gerald Diaz on the left side? Levante, he's a Spanish player on the youth level and making his way at the collegiate level now, playing for Marshalltown Tigers, community college out of Iowa. And it is something that you start to question yourself in, where you play as a youth in one system, then you go collegiately, now you're at the international level. Sometimes that can turn into not the greatest product. Other times you see guys play at a world-class level.
And for Hartford Athletic, coming in off a 5-1 victory on the campaign, currently sitting second from bottom in the Eastern Conference. And how would a mid-season friendly impact a team? Obviously, there are going to be some regular features in the side. It's a fairly thin squad at the moment. Where does this come in terms of coming at this point of the season? How would they approach a game like this?
It's a multitude of levels to look at it from. Let's start on the back line. Guys like Logan Gadula and Alex Davey. Alex Davey, one of the guys alongside Raymond Lee who picked up a red card over the weekend. Normally, if this was a league game, he'd be sitting. So this is a chance for one of your starting 11 to continue to get regular minutes, though not necessarily in a league match. That's okay. Logan Gadula coming back on loan from FC Cincinnati. He's been able to get minutes on a regular basis, and whether or not he ends up here long term, you don't know. He's a first-year pro coming out of Wake Forest, and then going forward, this is about instilling confidence. We talked about that for the front line of Puerto Rico, but for Hartford Athletic, a team that from a league standpoint still has an opportunity to make a run. They've been intermittent within their performances. Got to find a way to get some points, put balls in the back of the net.
As we are underway here in this match, which is presented by Medalla Light. Enjoy a taste of Puerto Rico with the island's national beer, now available in Connecticut. Hartford Athletic would like to thank the presenting partner of this special international friendly. This is a free kick for Puerto Rico to get things started. I must say, I enjoyed in the build-up to this match, Hartford Athletic and the crew at Dillon Stadium electing to go for a very Puerto Rican-themed musical selection. I think you and I in the commentary position very much enjoyed how much the crowd enjoyed it, and I would say we enjoyed it ourselves.
Finally, my wedding dance lesson started to pay off. Fortunately, no one was there to see it, but all in good fun, right?
Yes, indeed. Sebastian Dahlgaard will come onto the ball here for Hartford, trying to go outside of the boot towards Vucek. The 27-year-old from Illinois will lead the line tonight, or the armband in the build-up as well. Will be hitting long towards this right-hand side. Nicholas Cardona will play at this right back position. Will be a throw-in. Does look like early stages like how Carrinho will play at left back. Interesting to see with some new introductions and Raymond Lee going to the bench for the first time all year, how he was going to line up.
Bringing Harry Swartz back. Started his professional career. Jimmy Nielsen telling us that I felt like he was one of the guys that was going to be really an impactful figure, and he definitely has been. Though starting the season, they actually started him at right back. And I looked at Jimmy and I said, Jimmy, you sure this is the move? He said, I promise you he's going to be a right back going forward. Sure enough, in the 11 next week, he played right mid. Week after that, played starting forward. So he's just a versatile player that can be so impactful in so many different ways. And tonight he'll be on the back line.
Nicky Downs. And now Dalgard towards that byline, skinning the defender well. The low cross is in. Cut out at the near post. Away there from Rodolfo Zulia. And it will be a corner for Hartford. As we can now bring you our injury report, brought to you by Trantolo and Trantolo. And here are the players unavailable tonight for Hartford. You have Philip Rasmussen, Giuseppe Gentile, who is coming back from concussion, was approved to play, but is not going to give it a go in the 18 tonight as the header comes in, and catching practice for lefty Milan in the end. The other key figures unavailable for Hartford who keep *18 in the side tonight, but 2 goalkeepers available for selection for Jimmy Nielsen.
Jimmy Nielsen pretty descriptive in what he thought he was going to do with his boys in this charity match. So that I'm going to make this move at the 55th minute, this move at the 60th minute, this at the 65th. Again, an opportunity for everybody to get a chance to get out there and put a spin on the wheels.
Kyle Caringo away. Taking off the chest there from Jose Angulo. Again, this game to benefit Puerto Rico hurricane relief efforts, and also a portion of the ticket sales will go to the San Juan Center in Hartford. Up here as well, the tactical instructions coming from that technical area from Puerto Rico as Downs gets turned and tries to leave it with Barreda. Decent crowd on hand here at the Dillon Stadium. Of course, just recently reopened after renovation. Real community center that has seen some of Hartford's biggest events and now regularly see USL Championship soccer. And here is Barrera. And worked all the way back in the center of defense with Gadula. This ball in between the lines, and Buchik settling well. Angulo with the return ball, but a good step there from Joshua Calderon. And Puerto Rico to break out. Joseph Villafañe settling into the center of midfield. Shoulder in there from Angulo, but we play on. Charging forward Jorgensen. Here is the Dane. Trying to get turned, will lay off here with Downs. You see a fairly significant size advantage for Hartford Athletic in the opening stages. It's fairly obvious to the eye.
Some of the big foreign players that Jimmy Nielsen has brought in, the Danish background of his, guys like Vucek, Sebastian Dalgard on the left side. Nash Jorgensen in the middle. An issue for Jimmy Nielsen has just been able to get everybody on the pitch at the same time, dealing with injuries. Guys not in full match fitness coming back from that, like Giuseppe Gentile, who's in the 18, but not necessarily willing to put a boatload of miles on the odometer. Guys who are coming in and out on loan, and of course suspensions. Feels like it's been the story the entire season.
Strong tackle in there from Cardona. He does not necessarily consider this a friendly match on the basis of that tackle. Hartford Athletic would like to extend a special thank you to our title partner, Trinity Health of New England. Last time out in USL, Hartford Athletic losing by 5-1. Sebastian Dalgard opened the scoring to make it 1-0 against New York Red Bulls 2. But then Alex Davey and Raymond Lee were sent off and down to 9 men and losing 2 defenders. in the match. It was always going to be difficult, and in the end, a 5-1 result at the Dillon Stadium.
It was one of the odder sequences I've ever had the experience of seeing, and Jimmy Nielsen admitted that he had never been a part of it either. We're not going to go after the referee and what went on. We'll just say that both of the guys did get sent off, and it kind of circles back around to what we were talking about earlier, where he just can't get all the good guys that he's brought in, especially for his starters, to be on the pitch at the same point in time. Sebastian Dalgard finally coming back in. He gets an opportunity, and the relationship that he had created with Raymond Lee earlier this year was probably second to none on the team. Raymond Lee now suspended, so he gets the night off tonight. But in league play, you're missing that on the left side. Harry Schwartz, he's been sitting. He's gone into the midfield up top, into the right back position. With Loga Gadula coming back, you would have him at right back, move Harry Schwartz into the middle. But again, now Alex Davies going to be suspended. Semdevit gets the night off. So it's really nice to see that all of these guys are more than capable of rotating around the field and playing so many different positions. But it doesn't exactly give you the greatest amount of chemistry when it comes to a performance standpoint.
And difficult to build cohesion in those circumstances. Will be a throw in here for the Puerto Rican national team. We do have an upcoming friendly against Honduras in September before starting their CONCACAF Nations League campaign, as the shot comes in from inside this penalty area. Well cut out there by Gadula. And for Puerto Rico, entering the Nations League in League C with Guatemala and Anguilla. And of course, there is promotion and relegation within the Nations League setup. So Puerto Rico just get it together a little bit and really just find something in the attack. They can very easily find themselves into that league, those League B places, and face regular competition. And one of the things that you noted, Devin, is just the shortage of matches a country like Puerto Rico can play. And that's ultimately what the Nations League is there to offer, is regular football at international breaks and a build-up towards a World Cup qualifying campaign.
You get an idea with it so far, the way that things are panning out, where we start from the back, your goalkeeper, Lefty Milan, who's been a pro for 5-6 years now at Bayamon FC, but he's only in Puerto Rico. So it's either local leagues or an opportunity at the international level. But the rotation at the international level, Jacob Conde, we just mentioned, hasn't represented his country since 2017, and only his 6th appearance overall.
And a good one, too, as well from Conde. He was down that left-hand side. An opportunity here for Ryan Lopez to pick out a cross through that penalty area. Cut out at the near post. Strongly there by Downs. And throwing here for Puerto Rico. The ball is running in behind. There is Vega through the area. Shot coming in. Just fluffing his lines there, Gerald Diaz. Is unmarked from about 10 yards out. There's a good chance on there for the number 10. And you see his frustration. Hartford to come forward through Schwartz, who is a very advanced right back tonight. Kiringa more the player that will hold from fullback, as Dalgard has had real joy going down this left-hand side in 1v1 moments. Here's Angulo. And Downs. Nice touches here from Hartford Athletic, is now Barrera. Thought about maybe going outside of the boot, the left-footed player. Good turn there from Jorgensen. Barrera lofting into the area, trying to get a touch to an Angulo. He does, but it runs out of play before he can have an effort on target. Decent idea there between Barrera and Angulo.
Let's start with Puerto Rico on their opportunity, the other end of the field. Well done here by Cardona, recognizes Devin Vega. Just cutting in between the lines here. Back forehead dropped back a little bit, and space to be made available. And that's some of the chemistry we just talked about, being a bit off. When you don't play with each other on a regular basis, those runs are skewed a bit differently than when you're training day in and day out. It's a luxury that Hartford Athletic seem to have with each other.
Thrown here for Hartford as there is a second ball. Real intimate ground here as well, the Dillon Stadium. Fans right on top of the action. And in full voice tonight. Now again, Puerto Rico to come forward through Cardona. Option on this left-hand side. Diaz tries to spray it in that direction as Vega was charging through, and Swartz just about dealing with it. Now Gadula building out of the back, comfortably playing out there. Hartford Athletic. I mentioned the pair of players with Assumption College in Worcester, Mass, about 60 miles from here. Interesting that a few of the national players coming from there. I wonder what the American infrastructure could offer to Puerto Rico. Is coming forward is Dahlgaard. Gonna play the 1-2 with Barrera, who tries to interchange the former Fresno FC man. Kuringa and Downs. Patient build up here as Puerto Rico attempt to hold their shape. Elgie Morales barking out instructions from his technical areas. Here's Logan Gadula, the loanee from FC Cincinnati. Sliding behind here for Swartz, just a bit too much pace on it. But in terms of the American infrastructure for Puerto Rico, you'd figure it would make some sense for players to come from American colleges and maybe even play in American domestic leagues. There was a American lower league club in Puerto Rico, actually twice. The Puerto Rico Islanders and then Puerto Rico FC were both in NASL. But it is opportunity. The whole of CONCACAF has benefited from some of the infrastructure in the U.S. You'd figure Puerto Rico could be among those nations that could as well.
Well, how about MLS actually took the front look on this one, spearheaded a project where they now do a Caribbean combine for the MLS, and they bring a lot of the players over, guys from Puerto Rico, Jamaica, all headed down through the islands, an opportunity to showcase themselves outside of the yearly MLS combine they put on for collegiate players. A guy like Peter Lee Vassell coming out of Jamaica, who played for Harborview, now gets an opportunity, got drafted by LAFC. He's now on loan with Phoenix Rising, but it's interesting how you think that it's this tiny little island. I mean, how much talent can they really produce?
Sure.
The answer is a massive amount.
Right.
And how do you then harness that? But not just harnessing, how do you nurture it? That's probably the better word to use in this situation, where you take that talent. Infrastructure is a big word that you've used multiple times. I agree with it, and especially coming off of the devastating hurricane, where some of the infrastructure that was already there with some of the local clubs, whether it be U.S. ties or not, may no longer exist. So how do you then start it back up and then continues to push talent forward? Because the end game for this country is obviously the international level. You want to make sure that you're putting guys like Jacob Conde in an opportunity to succeed. He may not always be in the starting 11, but the fact that he's now stateside with a chance to represent his country, you wanted to say the same thing for the boys that are at Assumption. The issue here is just making sure that everybody's on the same page, and when you have so many rotating pieces, that's really difficult to do.
Here's the aforementioned Jacob Conde trying to play the cross through. Didn't get clean purchase to it, and it comes out for the goal kick. And then as well, on top of the competition in terms of trying to find infrastructure and places to go and play football on a regular basis, there is the competition. There are just some Caribbean nations where baseball is the bigger priority, and Puerto Rico is absolutely one of them.
Well, it's funny because quite regularly in the United States, you hear people talk about, well, how do we get our best athletes to play football? Because they're playing American football and they're playing baseball and hockey, and it's sports that dominated this country for so very long. That's what goes on in Puerto Rico, and you have to understand that there's an ebb and flow that you won't always be able to win that battle.
As Harry Swartz getting the better of the defender, getting it into the penalty area. Now Vucic trying to find the right option, lays it off with Barrera. We'll have a left-footed strike, Danny Barrera. And well dealt with there by lefty Milan, didn't spill it. And claiming well from fairly decent effort there from Danny Barrera.
And the boys in the middle of the field, and Juani Villafania just did not step up. A lot of room at the top of the 18. A little strike from distance, don't mind it. Harry Swartz known for that big right foot of his, but as you mentioned, can kind of dissect the ways in and find some of the traveling players. Again, it's all about their ability to put it all on the pitch on a regular basis. We mentioned not able to do so. Danny Barrera has rotated all over this lineup. On the left, in the middle. He's played next to Vucic up top, and Puerto Rican players just down. That is Wani O'Neal, wearing the captain's armband this evening.
And we'll now take the free kick as well. fans, Hartford Athletics' next home match is Saturday, August the 24th at 5 p.m. $2 beers, courtesy of Small State Great Beer, will be available through the 19th minute of the match. If you want to get there early, single game tickets start at just $16. Get your tickets today at hartfordathletic.com. Call the Hartford Athletic ticket office or email tickets at hartfordathletic.com for more information. Enjoy your day out. And Hartford are putting the lights up in the ground as well. Eventually play at night here, but the early kickoffs are fun as well during the Connecticut summer. And it's still a bit warm. 83 degrees at kickoff. Feels like 92 at the ground.
No humidity, though.
Yeah.
You're not going to win that heat battle with me. You and I, living down in sunny South Florida, get an opportunity to...
Yes, indeed. We know what heat is.
Exactly. And what it is not.
As the cross comes in there from Dalgard towards that back post. The late sliding tackle, though, will allow Hartford to win the free kick. Nicholas Cardona's put in a fairly aggressive shift early stages. He's not necessarily taking this as a friendly. It is one of the aspects of having this be a match that allows players for a national team to impress for 90 minutes. Here's this tackle.
Both the outside backs. Conde on the left and Cardona on the right, playing very high, and they're basically inverting their midfielders, allowing Devin Vega and Ryan Lopez to create a box in the midfield. It's kind of what you see out of the Philadelphia Union at times, where they kind of stack the midfielders and allow the two strikers up top to drop back in deep. That's why you're seeing 4, 5, and 6 overloading the middle at times, just lacking a bit of depth. And it's kind of hard. You're going into a charity match against a team that you're probably never going to play again unless it is another charity game. Competition takes over. I mean, I promise you, if I'm wearing that jersey I'm stepping on right now, I'm going in hard.
And you wonder as well if maybe just a tackle or two like that will get the Hartford players right up for it, as it'll be the cross in towards that back post. Gadula fake towards that back post run, but took a step back, and the ball goes flashing through there from Jorgensen. And a goal kick to Puerto Rico. With only 2 teams in CONCACAF Nations League qualifying to not earn a single point from 4 matches, the other being St. Martin. He saw some teams take some right hammerings in that competition. There was a 13-0 score line in the early stages of that one. So Puerto Rico to finish below them, not necessarily an indicator that they are a worse national side, but just on the day, struggled to create opportunities and get goals. Scored none, conceded 5 in their Nations League qualifying campaign. And now in the full Nations League can make amends. The run of promotions. Hartford trying to apply some pressure here, including Vucic. To Sulia. Now Cardona. Diaz laying off. Can't tell you that Hartford Athletic would like to recognize Cigna and all of its founding partners for the 2019 season. Cigna and Hartford Athletic are bringing the Cigna Every Save Matters Goalkeeper Clinic to Dillon Stadium. Find out more information and sign up to learn from the pros at hartfordathletic.com/clinics. Why not goalkeeper camps with Jimmy Nielsen in charge of things? Cardona. And he shouldered off it. Dalgard just growing into the game a bit, and it will be a free kick.
Making friends, keeping up international relations on this left side for Sebastian Dalgard. There's Cardona once again. He's not afraid, is he? One-on-one battles all day long up and down that right flank for him.
Snapping in once, twice, 3 times there, Dalgard. It'll be a free kick, as it will be Gerald Diaz over the free kick. Sent with pace in the area. Decent header to it. But over the head of Cody Cropper there, he was in trouble. Solid effort there from the free kick for Puerto Rico. In this charity international friendly, Hartford Athletic and the Puerto Rican national team are due for full internationals in September against Honduras and Guatemala. On to this left-hand side, more work to do there for Dalgaard. And tackles coming in his direction as well. Hit long there and well by Jorgensen. Comes here for Swartz. Well, try and play the 1-2. Barrera unable to get there. It's a good ball though to the feet of Downs. And Gulo. Sliding in behind for Dalgaard. Now Puerto Rico have shown some cohesion in these areas, keeping blocks of defenders and making life difficult to play through them. Now retreating all the way back to defense.
We were discussing the shape going forward, how they kind of inverted the outside wings to allow Conde and Cardona on the right side to get very high. You can see the defensive shape where they come very flat, create two levels, and basically are challenging Athletic to play through the lines. Really difficult. Angulo, wearing the number 9 for Hartford Athletic, dropping back very deep. And they don't necessarily have the depth up top out of the partnership that you see from Puerto Rico, and likes of Gerald Diaz and Sidney Rivera. And they're going side by side, and there's a really good look at it right now. Everybody just sitting back, 9-10 behind the ball at certain points in time. Really hard to break down for Hartford Athletic.
And Vucic now sending it towards that area, taking off the chest. Barrera appeals for handball, but Barrera retreating now. He goes down to the penalty area. Now Vucic, a heavy touch, and cleared away there by Zulia. Dalgaard. And on to his right, but leaving it with Downs. Now Jorgensen for Swartz. As the supporters right up for it, but the tackle in from Swartz is whistle for a free kick, and you see some signs of frustration there from Hartford. Interesting, given their height advantage, that you wouldn't want to get Vucic and maybe a couple of those late arriving central midfielders and try and win in the air against this Puerto Rican team. As it's given away at the back there by Milan. Now, nice ball through the penalty area. Opening goal for Hartford Athletic. Fantastic find there from Dalgaard for Vucic, who makes no mistake. And Hartford Athletic lead this friendly match over Puerto Rico by 1-0.
Not the distribution you're looking for coming out of your goalkeeper off the back line. Just gave them so many props for how organized they were in their defensive efforts. Just trying to play out here real quick from the goalkeeper. Looking for that far post. Cardona on the far touchline. Ball coming out of the back. Makes a terrible mistake out of lefty Milan. How cool is Dalgaard? Very well done. First touchdown in front of him. Everybody felt like he was going to hit it based upon recent form. Why not? It sees the streaking Vucic. Quick little touch in, and a beautiful finish from their talisman up top.
And the pace on that ball in from Dalgaard was measured to perfection, right into the stride of Vucic for a goal in this campaign. He has 3 in the league. And Jimmy Nielsen looking for, as you said, a talismanic figure to lead the line and get in the goals on a regular basis. And Gulo certainly a candidate to do that, as is Dalgaard, but you want to get your center forwards involved regularly in the goals.
We were just talking about how maybe go the aerial threat, find a point man up top, utilize some long balls in, and take the height advantage to your side of the field. This one obviously down on the ground, but still a confidence booster nonetheless. Jose Angulo, I feel like really he was in a nice stride earlier this season. Had a couple goals and that beautiful strike in league play against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds from about half field. Vucic has gotten involved as well, and what Jorgensen has been able to do from distance. 2 in the past month that he's hit from at least 30 yards out. Impressive to watch.
Nice interchange here as Rivera can slide in the ball in for Devin Vega to the penalty area. Now getting turned. Good play, though, in central midfield from Puerto Rico is now crossed it towards that back post. Tapped across, free header, Puerto Rico level. Lovely bit of play. And to apply the finishing touch, Gerald Diaz missed a sitter earlier on in this first half. But Ryan Lopez getting it across that area and tucked in by the number 10. It's 1-1.
And the international boys saying, we could go tit for tat. You want to speed it up a little bit? Why not? Well done by Devin Vega. Notice, needed a restructure on the offensive side of the ball. Did not have any support. He elects to pull it back. It's a great decision. Beautiful ball to the back post. And Ryan Lopez has the wherewithal to just put this back across the 6 and allow either Sidney Rivera or Diaz to run up underneath that. Rivera's on the near post run. Diaz on the back post, gets his boys level.
And well done there by Gerald Diaz. I should say plenty of credit, though, to Ryan Lopez, because sometimes those back post deliveries can be difficult to handle. Do you take a touch and then play across? Do you take it out of the air? Do you shoot? Do you head it? And you have to say, Lopez picked exactly the right option in the circumstance.
Beautiful execution, and there's so much that can go wrong there. Like you said, there's a lot of variables at play, and he just does a good job of taking the simplistic route. That's exactly what he should have done, where you take the air out of it and just bring it to the back post and allow one of your guys up top to showcase some of their technical ability and just run underneath the ball.
Throwing for Cardona, but given straight to Alex Davey. And not to harp too much on the negative for Hartford, but this is a side that has given up 62 league goals, 7 more than any other side in USL, in the championship, I should say. And it'll be a free kick here for Puerto Rico. And anyway, a goal in a friendly match. These are the sorts of things that, even though it is a friendly and there's a bigger cause at hand, you do want to see improvements in those areas.
Trying to build a foundation for the future. And a lot of the reasons they are conceding so many goals are in the fashion that you just saw. It's a transitional play, and even though it breaks down on the initial point of things, it's the communication from the back line, or lack thereof, that causes disruption. You know, where's the shout from Logan Gadula as the ball gets shifted over? Harry Swartz tracking back. They have to understand that if you're going to stay in zonal marking, you have to pass off appropriately. You can't allow Ryan Lopez, with all the talent that he has out on that right wing, to be unmarked on the back post, because he'll make you pay. Just a quick little talking point from Jimmy Nielsen from the sideline. And that starts with your goalkeeper as well. Cody Cropper, I understand he's on loan, but a guy with a massive amount of talent. You and I were talking about him off air. Atlanta, Georgia native, moved to Minnesota as a youngster, and started getting expert tutelage in his teenage years, moving overseas for Ipswich Town, and then spent 3 years with Southampton. Couldn't really break through into the first team, spent most of his time with the U23s. But that's just a shout from the goalkeeper of guys shift left, shift right, left shoulder. Let everybody know where the next mark is coming from, so that when the ball does get floated to the back post, if Lopez is unmarked, the next person, when this ball comes back across the 6, you can step in and go win that challenge.
And Cropper only just joining in the week for New England Revolution, so those are things to work on. As the tackles coming in, will be a throw in here. Also in the U.S. national side, Cody Cropper. Never featured at senior level, did feature regularly as a youth national teamer. As you now see on the screen, the Cigna save tracker. Shouts for handball there, as Hartford Athletic is teaming up with Cigna to launch a new philanthropic campaign, Every Save Matters. Cigna will donate $75 for every Hartford Athletic save for the entire 29 season, including the 97 Hartford Athletic games have had prior to the launch of this campaign. So far, Cigna has committed over $6,500 to Team Impact, a national nonprofit that connects children facing serious and chronic illnesses with athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes. Cigna is a founding partner of Hartford Athletic. So the next 10 minutes, we'll keep track of all the saves that happen in this period, and if there's any, $75 to this campaign. Calderon. And you see Jacob Conde laying it off there. Certainly worth retelling his story. Again, grew up in the Hartford area. This is his 6th cap for the national team. And his father, Rafael, played football at Dillon Stadium for Bulkley High in the area. And was out of football and decided he wanted to pick it back up again. And once this friendly comes along, gets a chance to play what would essentially be his home ground for his national team, has to be immense pride flowing through the veins of the Puerto Rico left back.
I liked what his trainer said when he started to get back into things, and said that he was going to get an opportunity, you know, go back into the workforce, start to get a quote-unquote regular job, as everybody likes to call it, a 9-to-5er, if you will. And he had taken a trip to go visit his friends in Buffalo at school, and his friends were kind of asking him, hey, what do you think about what you're going to do in the future? What does it look like for you? Really wasn't sure. And he said, you know what, I just needed to keep training for myself, keep myself in good fitness and make sure I was eating proper, to be healthy first and foremost. And he said with that in mind, he just finally reached for his phone one day at work and called his trainer, Adrian Nelson, and said, Adrian, this ain't it, man. This is not it for me. I got to find out to keep playing. And his agent said, or excuse me, his trainer said, absolutely, I've been waiting for this phone call. And they both got back to work, and as they say, the rest is history.
A bit extra left there will be the trainer coming on for Kiringa. Sort of went face first into that challenge, and Ryan Lopez caught a bit of him. Free kick to Hartford.
And we said it's a friendly, quote unquote, but you can see how sometimes the spirit of this beautiful game can creep into the athletic side of things, and you just want to have fun. Competitiveness always at the front of everybody's minds. Even though it is a charity, as we've referenced before, all the boys in the Puerto Rican squad wanting to impress for their manager, Angie Morales.
Nice turn there from Diaz, now sliding behind towards Rivera, but always carrying too much pace. Still drawing the plaudits there from Morales, the manager for Puerto Rico. Cal Kiringa. And his professional career in Finland, also with Tampa Bay and Real Monarchs in USL. Well, Harry Swartz coming forward. Going to try and play the 1-2 with Angulo. Well, sprayed out towards Kiringa, who's afforded space and can slide in Dalgard. His first time crosses into the penalty area. Angulo flying through. Neither he nor Vucic can get ahead to it, and it comes out for the goal kick.
Number 2 in a white jersey, Kyle Kiringa. He's an interesting one, as Sebastian Dalgard playing just in front of him. Guy that talked about that relationship on the left side. Kiringa has primarily been employed on the right, but due to the absence of Raymond Lee, actually brought him in last game when Raymond Lee got sent off. Playing in a 9-man, that's not something you practice on a regular basis in the training. They bring him over to the left side, and went to FAU for a year. Kaz Donev was the head coach there, spent some time there, and once he got his opportunity at the professional level, spent some time in Sweden, GBK and Yardo for the better part of about 2.5 years. When he came back, Mark Briggs actually picked him up with Real Monarchs back in 2017 and became quite a regular appearance player for him. Not necessarily always in the starting 11, but with the system that he had at play there, you rotate your outside backs, your midfielders. Kyle Kiringa got a lot of opportunity there. Goes to Tampa Bay last year. Stu Campbell, prior to the departure of Neil Collins, brings him in. He broke his leg or ankle about 3 games into the season. Spent most of the time rehabbing it, and another one of the players that Jimmy Nielsen just kind of kept his eye on. He obviously had experience with him being at OKC the year before and got an idea of what the player was capable of. And now that he's finally fully fit and healthy, thinks that he can make a massive presence for this back four.
Jorgensen. Barrera buzzing around in the center of the park. Will usually play in front of Jorgensen and Downs in central midfield. Here he is on the ball again. Sebastian Dalgard as the assist for the opening goal for Hartford from Vucic. Davey. Now, Gadula. Play in behind, and to no one in particular. Comes out for the goal kick. Gadula, one of a few MLS loanees in this team. Talked about Cody Cropper already. Gadula from FC Cincinnati. Have Bedoya as well. Daniel Bedoya unavailable tonight on loan from NYCFC. MLS pedigree in this team, but he's trying to find the right combination. Lefty Milan gets it clear. And now a free kick here for Puerto Rico in the center of the park as Sidney Rivera went down. Rivera, who does have connection to one of the players with Hartford. Not on the side tonight, Giuseppe Gentile. Missing due to a concussion, but they did play together in Puerto Rico with Puerto Rico FC and in NASL. Another free kick here to the national side of Puerto Rico. And in the end, Cardona will just leave it. Juani O'Neill. They just hit across towards Rivera, forcing Cropper to come off his line. Strong catch there from 26-year-old. Commanding his area well.
It's the presence you want out of your goalkeeper, loanee or not. Nice recognition of the quick little play that was coming. Ryan Lopez had checked in, and they decided to go direct over the top. Cody Cropper not only coming off his line, venturing out quite far, willing to throw his body in harm's way as well.
Forrest trying to play the 1-2 there. Will come again here for Barrera, who plays across towards that back post. Rising and winning the header there. Dahlgaard, and will come here for Angulo. Not trying to turn on it, trying to just touch it through there. He'll come here for Schwartz. Trying to lay it off there with Barrera, but at the right angle on the pass, and clear. Strong tackle coming through. Kuringa. Now Hartford to apply some pressure here. And it did indeed cross the line out for the throw-in. In the judgment of the assistant. Deep in the Puerto Rico end. And taken quickly. Barrera. Right-footed cross is in. Off a red and white shirt. For a corner.
Hartford will take a Bank of America corner kick.
And it will be Jorgensen to take. This Bank of America corner. The stand's pretty packed there on the far side. Love to see it. A fantastic summer's evening in Connecticut. Lofted into the area for a header to be won. And it looks like it was Davey who got something on it, but Milan claiming in the end. Hartford Athletic fans, be sure to vote for your Cigna Man of the Match on Twitter using hashtag CignaMOTM. At the moment, who would you go for, Devin? For Man of the Match.
Can I pick one from each side?
Sure.
Okay, fair enough. I like what I've seen out of Nicholas Cardona. He's been impressive on the right side. Obviously, the build-up from the boys on the goal. Great ball across by Ryan Lopez, and Even better finish by Gerald Diaz. I feel like on the right side, he's done a good job. He's got his hands full in Sebastian Dalgard and everything that he brings to the table. I think that's been impressive for Hartford Athletic. Tough to tell based upon the way that they've played so far. Some really pretty stuff, but some frustrating things as well. I'd probably take his counterpart in Dalgard. And basically that matchup on this near touchline right in front of us. Fun to watch and some impressive stuff. 1v1 on the offensive side of the ball for both guys, but defensively they've been able to lock it down too.
You would think that would be a zero-sum game with where either the defender is playing well, the attacker is playing well, but I agree. I think both players have done their jobs pretty well on the day. As Vucic tries to send a cross in, and Milan playing it off his chest. That's awkwardly dealt with, but just about away.
Put it off his chest, and when he got up, just kind of nonchalantly strolled over to it, said, "My bad," and knocks it out of bounds. The fans appreciate it.
You can use your hands.
You're the only one.
Here's Dalgard. I've shouted that a few times at Sunday League. You can use your hands.
Problem was is you were the goalkeeper.
It'll be a free kick, a late tackle in there in the center of midfield from Vucic. And match day referee Jeremy Shear just getting things started. You want to see cards come out in a friendly for a good cause, but I've seen a little bit of needle in this one.
Pretty high tension on that right side we just talked about early on. That's settled down a little bit here.
It's a bit late there.
Yeah, he gets his foot stuck in the turf a little bit. No malintent necessarily, at least not from Vucic's point of view. I promise you that's the case being made with the referee.
And now Rivera with it coming together with Kuringa, and for a second time Kuringa has stayed down. Free kick here for Hartford. Hearing from the ground, we'll have a minimum of 1 minute to be added here at the end of this first half. Goals coming from Vucic and Gerald Diaz. Nice response for Puerto Rico. We should give them credit. They've struggled for goals in recent international matches, but given the opportunity there and taking it well, and especially so quickly after conceding the opening goal.
Don't train together, don't play together on a regular basis. You and I were talking about it. Their last competitive match was March, I believe.
Yeah.
March 2019.
Yeah, early this year, yeah.
So a team that, as we mentioned, you can't take for granted the opportunity to be on the pitch on a regular basis. And you can kind of make the analogy to All-Star games when you play like NBA, for instance. I mean, it's great to have all these beautiful stars out there, but doesn't necessarily make for the greatest packaged product at certain points in time.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been the case. They've grown into the game, done well for themselves, and obviously the beautiful goal coming out of number 10, Gerald Diaz.
I always found interesting that, for example, the World Cup is by far the biggest soccer event in this country, but it's, I don't think, anywhere near the highest level that soccer has to offer.
Gotten better over the years.
Of course.
But I mean, you go back to the 94s, 98s, even 02s, where you had some pretty runs by Brazil and France. But was it really that impressive, the level? No, because same thing.
Yeah.
Guys don't
They're
train.
essentially all-star teams.
You go into camp for a month-ish before the World Cup, and obviously there's qualifying, but you're back and forth with your club team, and these are managers that you're basically just managing as opposed to being able to coach and teach and push these guys going forward into your system.
And Gulo now hits the cross towards the back post. Vucic arriving, can play it out the other end at least with Schwartz, but work for him to do, and well taken off by Conde. You hear his fan section. Of course, I would imagine plenty of family out at the ground tonight for the Hartford-born Jacob Conde.
He's not buying drinks. he's in charge of, he brings the ice and everybody else brings the adult waters.
And there is the whistle for halftime. Opening goal coming courtesy of a fantastic move. Sebastian Dalgard sliding in. Vucic makes no mistake in sliding in that bottom corner to give the home side the lead. But Puerto Rico, the national team in this international friendly, doing really well to find a response to a nice passage in play. Nice long ball hit towards the back post. Ryan Lopez playing it across for that man, Gerald Diaz, who's made it at the break. Hartford Athletic 1, Puerto Rico 1.
Some quality talking points for the manager of Puerto Rico, LG Morales. We were just alluding to them, and really like what you've seen out of Gerald Diaz and Ryan Lopez, especially Cardona on the right side. That's a nice little relationship they need to continue to cultivate. Have to find a way to get Sidney Rivera going involved, the number 15. He is too talented up top and just haven't seen enough of him. Conversely, his counterpart, Vucic on the other side of the ball, really came into his own last 10, 15 minutes. Jose Angulo dropping down into the false 10. That has to become a 5 or 6 man front going forward if they want to continue the success that they've had.
Fantastic spectacle tonight at the Dillon Stadium, and your score at halftime in this international friendly. It's Hartford Athletic of the USL Championship 1, the Puerto Rican National Football Team 1. Hartford Athletic 1, Puerto Rico 1 at halftime of this international friendly. A really fun night here at the Dillon Stadium as an international side coming to Hartford, but one that's particularly meaningful. A big Puerto Rican community in this area, and some of their fans coming out tonight supporting their national team, who will begin CONCACAF Nations League play in less than a month as we'll take on Guatemala in League C of the Nations League. Fans coming out tonight and supporting both sides, Hartford Athletic and Puerto Rico and their national team. Chris Whittingham here with Devin Kerr for commentary. Just have a look at the upcoming schedule. There are the 3 matches for Puerto Rico in the Nations League. Will play Guatemala twice and then Anguilla as they try and get promoted through this CONCACAF Nations League.
How about the friendly against Honduras? That'll be a fun one for them. Massive
and
amount
a tough one as well.
Yeah, very difficult for sure. And Guatemala back-to-back in about 2 months. Nice, good opportunity. And you just kind of wonder what we're seeing now. What does this squad look like going forward? Massive names that are not on the roster tonight for Puerto Rico. All-time leading scorers, and Javier De La Rosa, Mike Ramos, Elliot Velez, Cody Lorendi, pretty much their starting goalkeeper over the past few seasons. And as we said, an awesome opportunity from an exhibitional standpoint to raise some funds. But you have to wonder for LG Morales when he's taking a look at his squad overall, kind of what he's doing, diving deep into their history, what this performance does from an influential standpoint for his picks in those upcoming fixtures.
And again, Nations League will start in less than a month. The United States, of course, participating, goes all the way through CONCACAF, and some opportunities to get in some key matches and regular matches as well for the nations of CONCACAF, including Puerto Rico, trying to build out their football program. Some really cool scenes at halftime from the band here, getting some entertainment going. For Hartford Athletic, meanwhile, it's back to USL Championship action as they'll be taking on Atlanta United 2 next time out, trying to get back to winning ways, and another struggler in the Eastern Conference.
That boy, though, right there, Bienveni Kanakamana. What a man. He can play. Had 6 goals over his previous 3 games, leading into one of their most recent fixtures. That didn't turn out so well for them, but massive amount of talent, and Hartford Athletic has shown that they can go toe-to-toe with some of the best in the Eastern Conference so far this year. They took Indy 11 to the ropes, were it not for an own goal that sent them packing at the tail end of the game. And Jimmy Nielsen just feels like if he had everybody at his disposal, they could make a run at this. The problem is that hasn't necessarily been the case, and hence where they're currently sitting at the bottom of the East.
And fans, this is Hartford Athletic's next home match. It's Saturday, August 24th at 5 p.m. $2 beers, courtesy of Small State Great Beer, will be available through the 19th minute of the match. Single game tickets start at just $16. Get your tickets today at hartfordathletic.com. Call the Hartford Athletic ticket office or email tickets at hartfordathletic.com for more information. Have a look at the upcoming fixtures. Beyond that, 2 more home games against Loudoun United and Louisville City. The champions come to the Dillon Stadium, and away trips to St. Louis and Ottawa Fury.
Nikola Popovich's boys, they're starting to make their way up the East, and they'll take on Loudoun United tonight. Unfortunately, Ottawa Fury just bowing out of the Canadian Championship recently. Toronto FC handing them their bags and saying, how do you do? Have a good one. St. Louis FC, do we see them make a run down the stretch? They've struggled a bit as of late.
Yeah, they have indeed. Really struggling for league form. I think it's 1 win in 14 for them for the last few months. One of the sides did very well representing the USL in the Open Cup, but unfortunately have not been able to replicate that form in the league. But St. Louis as well, a difficult team to go and win away at. They've only lost once this year, even amidst these struggles on this campaign at the Worldwide Technology.
The possession-oriented style soccer that Anthony Pulis has put in there is very impressive. Great defensive shape. We gave some credit to Puerto Rico and they were able to do. It's kind of what you see. Traditional 4-4-2 style format where they're really looking for a goal scorer, to be honest, and Kyle Gregg hasn't necessarily lived up to the hype. And they're a squad that doesn't need someone to go out and score 15 or 20 goals, but you would expect 1 or 2 guys to be in double digits.
And that is the upcoming schedule for Hartford Athletic. Again, the next home match, August the 24th, $2 beers through the 19th minute. So you can very much come to the ground and enjoy a nice evening out at the Dillon Stadium. Of course, the recently renovated Dillon Stadium, the home venue for the game tonight. Around this time in halftime, we'd like to show you some of the best from around the USL Championship and also preview our National Game of the Week.
Fortune can hit from here! Oh! McCarthy once more! Blasted back in, and it's a goal for North Carolina FC! Big shot, and scored! And Ben Spees lets one fly and drills it!
Coming and off and in. What a move!
Shot blocked, follow up, and that one blocked, ball still loose.
Stanley will try to create here. Gets it in. Here's Rowe. Up ahead. Continuing cuts back. Strike coming. And just beyond the reach of Mangles, it's in. Towards the box. Cuts around Ovalle. Goes down the strike. Philly on the save at the near post. Through the traffic. Knocks it on. Soto there. Back. The shot. And in. Josue Soto off the bench and putting Chattanooga up 2-1.
A little trickery now, maybe.
McCabe goes for goal, and it's an excellent free kick. A long run-up produces a long-range effort from Niall McCabe. Not the first time that he cuts through from Dalgard. Dalgard still with it. He tees it up. Great effort, and a terrific opening goal for Hartford Athletic, coming by the way of Sebastian Dalgard.
Opportunities for the opponent. This ball comes in, headed away only to the top of the box. To Langsdorff, volley off the chest, and Portland has the lead in the 3rd minute.
Still Zach Sandy to drive, and what a save by Matt Pickens.
Sent in towards the back post, headed on. Calais Brown, what a save. John Maduro watch him on the tail end of this. He knows how good of a save it is. He turns around, slaps a little high five. Devon George's going to be robbed. Callie Brown.
And that's some of the best from around USL Championship. Loudoun United featured there at the end. As your score here at halftime, it's Hartford Athletic 1, Puerto Rico 1. Phoenix Rising continues to be the major talking point of the USL Championship. Last night, improving to 14 consecutive victories in the league.
13 consecutive and dollar beer night.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I would say that's arguably the bigger achievement.
But we can't say 27 games unbeaten because they don't go together.
Right, exactly.
Makes sense to me. How about the true rookie, Orange County SC, 14-year-old Francis Jacobs surpassing Freddie Adu. I don't know if you see the DC United forward signed so many years ago, but Orange County, you and I have taken a liking to what Braden has done out there and on the West Coast. Some really impressive talent, and on the U side as well. Cervantes in goal, and they just continue to pump out.
It's a prodigious area for talent. There should be more players like that coming through. 14, though, is absolutely extraordinary. Let's have a look at the USL Championship Team of the Week. Who's your pick of the lot, as you see Parano there in central midfield for San Antonio as the player of the week?
I'm a big fan of Robbie Mertz. He's one of my personal favorites and kind of the standout for me of the 2019 season. A guy highly rated coming out of Shaka Daly's crew in the University of Michigan. Actually trained with Pittsburgh Riverhounds last year as well. His brother has gotten a couple looks too. He's at Delaware, I believe, and just a guy who's taking the most of the chances given to him, kind of running away with it. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, speaking of which, they took down New York Red Bull 2 on Wednesday. That was an interesting result. Red Bull 2 has not dropped a lot of games at home in the past at all, yet alone in 2019 season. NCFC, we just showcased that they're going to be taking on Tampa Bay Rowdies. Tampa Bay Rowdies, by the way, they lost their most recent match. They'll be off this weekend against Birmingham Legion. Birmingham Legion have been impressive. Four wins out of the last 5.
That's sometimes all it takes to get towards a playoff race.
And that 5th, by the way, is a draw, so they're unbeaten in 5. Tommy Sohn's boys moving up the table, finally in playoff position.
If you have a look at the upcoming schedule in the Eastern Conference, Indy 11 and St. Louis FC, a big match in the playoff picture, as is Birmingham and Memphis. Birmingham trying to get into that top 10. Plenty of great matches on the way. You can watch them all on ESPN+. But in our match here, it's Hartford Athletic 1, Puerto Rico 1. We'll show you first half highlights when we come back.
Celebrate a night of good vibrations for a great cause with a band that gave America 36 top 40 hits. Trentolo and Trentolo presents The Beach Boys live in concert. August 17th under the stars at the Simsbury Meadows Performing Arts Center. Plus fun fireworks after the concert. Benefiting the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford. Tickets on sale now at trentololaw.com/concert.
Plus fun. Liberty Bank presents fireworks after the concert.
Where some see a barber, I see a magician. I see Hugo, of Hair by Hugo. Wizard of whiskers. Sorcerer of scissors. Houdini of hair. Hugo is a small business owner. Me, I'm the Hartford Buck, and I see nothing small in small business.
The Hartford Small Business Insurance. The Buck's got your back.
Nick, we need a decision. These days, we all feel a little anxious sometimes. But if you could see inside my mind, you'd find I go to my happy place. See, if we let tensions run the show up here, then our bodies won't perform at their best out here.
Wait, are we going to the sound check?
Priorities. So I'm partnering with Cigna to remind you that how you're doing emotionally affects you physically. Go for your annual checkup and be open with your doctor about anything you're feeling, physically and emotionally. Body and mind. Cigna, together all the way.
Hartford Athletic 1, Puerto Rico 1 at halftime. Let's show you the first half highlights from this one. Here would be the opening goal for Hartford. Sitting behind there by Sebastian Dalgard and Vucic sliding in for 1-0.
It's a great finish by Vucic, but how about Dalgard? Beautiful first touch and just puts the perfect amount of pace on it. You alluded to that early on in the broadcast. Very well done. Just tucks it in behind Kwani O'Neal, and easy pickings. Bottom corner, 1-0 Hartford Athletic. 2 minutes later, let's get a second goal of the game. Why not? Good build up here. Devin Vega gets it all the way back down in, but then the understanding that he doesn't necessarily have the right personnel to take the matter into his own hands. What does he do? Pulls it back, trusts his teammates, trusts the process. That's Ryan Lopez on the back post, just knocks it back across. Gerald Diaz, 27th minute, 2-2.
And a nice equalizer there for Puerto Rico as Gerald Diaz nodding in there on the ball across from Ryan Lopez, and we'll now keep track of all the changes that could be coming here into this second half. So we are underway from the Dillon Stadium in this second half. Hartford Athletic and Puerto Rico FC. Again, this is a charity-friendly mid-season for Hartford. With a weekend off, why not take advantage of the opportunity to support some great causes and also support one of the burgeoning local communities in the Hartford area. A vibrant Puerto Rican population, cited as among the largest in the United States. Chairman and CEO of Hartford Athletic, Bruce Mandel, saying, quote, "It is our mission to bring our community together through the world's game, and what better way to do it than to host an international friendly that will be a celebration of Puerto Rican culture." And it has indeed been just that, as Dalgard will come forward here for Hartford, now going left to right here in this second half. Here's Downs. Sprayed out towards that right-hand side and Swartz, but didn't get it there. And now the clearance goes right into Swartz's face. And he's going to need treatment for that one. Referee will stop play.
This catches the brunt end of a redirect here. One day trying to come around him, and Harry Swartz takes one off the moneymaker. Can't mess that up.
No, you cannot.
Never. Get in the dressing room. Have a little crack at the abdomen. You can kick me in the ankles, but don't go at the face. Standard fighting rules.
It is indeed. No touching of the hair or face.
Of course.
And that's it. As Harry Swartz will receive some treatment. Puerto Rico back in play. Those look relatively unchanged at halftime, as the ball there is a bit much from Joshua Calderon. Jacob Conde plays on the left-hand side of that back four with Rodolfo Zulia and Nicolas Cardona filling out the rest of that defense. As Sidney Rivera will lead the line and try and cause some problems here for Hartford Athletic, but Alex Davey and Kyle Karinga doing just about enough to play out of it. Here's Delgard, cutting on to his right. Struck from this sort of range against Red Bulls too, and not a bad effort. Claimed by Milan in the end. A threat coming from wide areas for Hartford.
This is well done by Milan. Not an easy one to take down here. It's a strike. It's got a pretty decent amount of pace, but it's off a deflection and in traffic. You can see it just dipping at the tail end of things. Have to judge it so appropriately. Well done by just maintaining his composure, collecting and going the other way.
Gadula. Danny Barrera. Hartford have stated their intent to make these sorts of matches a regular feature of Hartford Athletic. International friendlies of club and country. As here's Downs. Leading off here with Mads Jorgensen, going to play the 1-2 with Barrera. Just a bit heavy on the return. And Puerto Rico, not too much in the way of possession, but when they've gone forward, they've created some opportunities.
We saw some pretty decent movement out of Devin Vega opening 10-15 minutes of the first half, but unfortunately that performance started to fade away a little bit. Ryan Lopez a bit more active on the right side. They've actually flip-flopped now. Vega out on the right, and Lopez has come to the near touch line just in front of Conde.
Davey and Vucic interchanging well. Now Swartz to try and pick out a cross towards that byline through that area. Vucic towards goal. Just blazing over, took a deflection on the way through. It'll be a corner for Hartford. And the captain, Andre, looking for his second.
we continuously talk about relationships and how can you build those going forward. And there's so much rotation. Harry Swartz has been one of those guys out on the right-hand side that has created an impressive connection with Fuchik up top. Well done to get all the way down to the byline, cut it back. It's everything that you would see from the training ground outside of the finished product.
And now a corner for Mads Jorgensen to take. Jimmy Nielsen signaling that he wants at least an option short. It's not played to him. And Jorgensen will peel it back here for Swartz, who can now pick out another cross. Takes a deflection off of Diaz on the way through. See some frustration there from Nielsen with the delivery of that cross. And back to the recent loanee for Hartford in goal, Cody Cropper, coming from New England Revolution. And the former Southampton man hitting it towards Angulo. And one by Calderon. Now to touch for a throw-in to Hartford Athletic. And Hartford Athletic would like to thank the presenting partner of this special international friendly, Medalla Light. Enjoy a taste of Puerto Rico with the island's national beer, now available in Connecticut. Davey. Delgard wanted Barrera to show, and it's a decent idea in behind, but Nicky Downs caught flat-footed, the product of Yale. And left for Lefty Milan to claim. A few nervy moments. I'd say he was at fault for the opening goal as he gives the ball away. In central midfield now, Angulo doing well to take down here. Jose Angulo, lining up a left-footed shot. He'll have one, takes a deflection, and Milan scrambling back across his line to claim that one.
Just looked like Jose Angulo had his mind up the entire time. He wanted it on this left foot of his. Always looking for that far post. Good look at Lefty Milan. Good job maintaining his positioning, not giving up too much space on the near post while allowing his defenders to do their job in front. Great reaction coming off the deflection.
Kadula. Trying to play the 1-2 with Swartz. You see those ideas from Hartford, those quick combinations, they come off. It can work to great effect as hit long there by Davey. Good switch to find Dane Sebastian Delgard towards that byline. His left-footed cross is delivered and cut out at the near post by Juani O'Neill. Now for the corner to Hartford Athletic.
A couple of the boys in red and white shirts warming up on the sideline for LG Morales. Looked like we saw Andres Cabrera just coming into the picture at the tail end of things. He's one of the ones that we talked about.
Hartford will take a
Double-digit appearances for his country. Pretty decent club career as well, and maybe the possibility of an appearance here at the charity match.
Corner to be swung in here. Lofted into that 6-yard area, headed away by Calderon, but still work to do for Puerto Rico at the back as Jorgensen can send in once more. That's one way to claim an aerial cross. Lefty Milan, one-handed. Be befitting of an NFL wide receiver, as now yellow will come in for Davey. Not the most convincing, but dealt with by the Puerto Rico goalkeeper. As some changes being prepared here for Puerto Rico. You see Andres Cabrera being prepared, as is Daniel Arce. And these substitutions are brought to you by 4G Recycling. And there you see the local lad, Jacob Conde, coming off. as is Ryan Lopez.
The official has issued a
Assisted
yellow
the
card
opening
on
goal
number
for
44.
Puerto Rico. Eventually nodded in by Gerald Diaz. Apologize for any language coming through from our pit side microphones. That'll be a free kick for Hartford in the center of the park as Vucic went down.
Substitutions for Puerto Rico.
And it will be Davey over it as we bring back our Cigna Save Tracker. As Hartford Athletic is teaming up with Cigna to launch a new philanthropic campaign, Every Save Matters. Cigna will donate $75 for every Hartford Athletic save for the entire 2019 season. So far, Cigna has committed over $6,500 to Team Impact, a nonprofit that connects children facing serious and chronic illnesses with athletic teams. Cigna is a founding partner of Hartford Athletic. So, want to see some shots on target here. The goalkeeper is working. This 10-minute passage in play. We'll have the save tracker up. Swartz. Nice layoff there with Jorgensen. Tackle put in there to win the ball back for Puerto Rico, but only as far as downs. Now, Dalgard appeals for a penalty, and it's given. Dalgard coming in off that left-hand side, and we mentioned Nicholas Cardona's had a lot of work to do and concedes the penalty to the Dane Dalgard.
That was the fun matchup in the first half. Dalgard and Cardona up and down the entire time. Fun 1v1 battle. He gets it wrong. It's the left leg just stepping out, getting right in front of Sebastian Dalgard. Have to understand that this push has to come towards the top of the 18, cannot impede the runner when he makes the first move. It's a youthful mistake out of the San Juan native. How about Jose Angulo? Can he get back to his goal-scoring ways? Some of that confidence we talked about to be bred for one of the number 9s up top.
It's 4 league goals. And we'll now try and give Hartford Athletic their lead back from the spot. Here's Angulo, keeper the wrong way, and calmly dispatched there by Jose Angulo. And Hartford Athletic with order restored. It's 2-1 in favor of the USL Championship side.
It's a great penalty by Angulo. Pretty much a straight-on run, making Lefty Milan almost guess as to which direction he's going to go to. You keep an eye on his hips just at the last minute. Opens up that left side and just peels it right inside the post, and it becomes a guessing game at certain points in time. Look at the goalkeeper, a bit of theatrics on the line, big arms wide, very well struck. Medium height, left foot, just at the tail end of things. Even if he guesses appropriately, that's most likely still in the back of the net.
And well handled there by Angulo. He's got 4 goals in the league and trying to find that scoring form. That is the opportunity that a friendly like this would allow. Is, even though it doesn't count, you still do feeling the confidence of scoring a goal at the weekend. And for Vucic and Angulo on the score sheet tonight.
For someone like Jose Angulo, who has really been moved all over recently. Spent his entire career as the lone striker up top. They've played him underneath Vucic, played him out on the left-hand side, and track back a couple games. They were pretty impressive, to be honest, from a possession standpoint. It was a 3-0 loss at Bethlehem Steel. And every single time the attack kept coming through the left-hand side, and he would provide beautiful distribution in the middle, but nobody on the end of things. That's kind of what you need.
Substitutes combining there as Arce whips the cross in off the ball and from Cabrero. And out for the throw-in. Touch there from Cabrero, who carries on here for Puerto Rico national side. Now charging forward to have a strike, Devin Vega. And it goes blazing over into that terrace. In behind Cody Cropper's goal. As we are hearing word of more 4G recycling changes being prepared, is now coming forward here. Jorgensen can slide in the run of Downs. Poor touch through the area, then cleared. Downs. Dalgard again shown very well in this game as an assist and won the penalty for the second goal. Kadula sliding behind, but well read there. In the middle by the substitute Arce. Plays for St. Francis Brooklyn College. Free kick taken quickly. And Barrera trying to slide in the run of Swartz. And a throw in to Hartford Athletic. A poke it there, Barrera. You see 3 changes being prepared on this near side. Alex Dixon, Raymond Lee, and Ryan Williams. All in just about the hour mark, of course, waiting for the ball to be put out of play first. Jorgensen. Davey will send long towards Barrera on this near side. And put off of Calderon for the throw-in. And then we'll have the trio of changes. Downs off and Gulo out. There you see Raymond Lee coming on. He'll miss the next match with a red card suspension. And Vucek off as well.
Substitutions for Hartford.
Ryan Williams, Raymond Lee, and Alex Dixon all entering here. These are all presented by 4G Recycling. And this was the plan for Jimmy Nielsen.
Premeditated for sure. Vucek taking a seat. And we'll play some musical chairs as well now. Raymond Lee gets to go to left back. Kyle Karinga will come all the way to the right side. Harry Swartz will get to play a higher line, have some more fun with the boys up top, but most importantly, this back line.
And it's a mile offside, isn't it, Devin Vega? But Cropper was off his line anyway to deal with any potential danger.
Jimmy Nielsen told us in the call that he had 4 substitutions in mind. There's 3 of them. There's one more, a newcomer in Sal Di Tommaso Jr. Get to his story later. That will get an opportunity right around the 75th minute to come in and make his debut for local club.
Williams now coming in and straight away hitting over the top towards Swartz, who, as you mentioned, will play a more advanced position with the changes coming on. As Kadula can take out of the air. It's a loose touch there from Williams, and the forearm came up, caught Williams, and the referee has allowed play to continue here. Calderon. This interchange in the center of the park from Puerto Rico. Now, Rodolfo Zulia, the youngest player in this squad at 17 years of age. Slide that had to carry on. Poke forward again by the central defender. A nice layoff for the Captain O'Neill. Arce. Play it towards Rivera. Well dealt with here by Gadula. Nice first time ball on behind for Diaz. Now charging forward here. Here's Vega, first time cross towards that back post. Low read and tracked by Cody Cropper, who eventually catches. Solid work from the New England loanee. And a save. Cigna will donate $75 for. Nice work by Cropper and goals. And again, that's going to Team Impact, which connects children facing serious and chronic illnesses with athletic teams forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes. Cigna, a founding partner of Hartford Athletic. And also you can vote in the Cigna Man of the Match on Twitter using the hashtag CignaMOTM. Villafane. Right out to this right-hand side for Cardona. Villafane with a loose ball. Does manage to get it poked back and actually took out a teammate. Took out Sulia in the process. And Gadula faking as if he was going to play it and confusing Cabrero and allowing it to run to Cropper. Interesting that after a tackle on the center of the park, that the defender was on the brunt end of a tackle from his own teammate, got right back up. It wasn't a problem.
I want a card. I'm lobbying for a card. I don't care what jersey he's wearing.
Has that ever happened before where a yellow card was issued for a foul committed on a teammate?
I wish.
Because if there was, that might have been it.
They'll take it up with each other in the locker room later.
Alex Dixon with Gadula. Now Hartford has a run of possession. Match having the feel of a friendly, but of course supporting a great cause. Enjoying a night out here at Dillon Stadium. As again, Dalgard to work on that left-hand side. Now Jorgensen cutting onto his left and having a strike, and what a strike it is. Mads Jorgensen. He doesn't think this is a friendly. It is an absolutely fantastic strike into that bottom corner, and Hartford add to their lead. It's now 3-1.
Said earlier in the match, this guy likes to pull the trigger. Saw Harry Schwartz cut inside on the right foot going to his left, and Jorgensen was actually trailing right at the top of the 18. Had a secondary option to lay it off to the central midfielder if he wanted to. A guy that struggled over the past few weeks to get in based upon suspension after his sending off against Nashville. But for the third time in the matter of weeks, he has put together a ridiculous display of striking ability. Just unleashing from distance, picking out that bottom corner the entire way. He's going to have to start apologizing to people.
Goal. Scored by number 8, Miss Jorgensen.
And Jorgensen, who has 3 league goals on the year. You have to say, on the day, the top scorers that have played have all contributed in the goals. Vucic has 3, Jorgensen has 3, and Angulo has 4. Good for them to get a run out tonight and contribute in the attack once more. As now the cross is played in there by Cardona. Cut out by Alex Davey. Now trying to play out. This is very neat football. The center of midfield. As Williams now hit it long for Schwartz. Barrera trying to return the favor in behind. Here's Harry Schwartz. Being turned onto it. Turning with Barrera. Now Harry Schwartz again to pick out a cross. Before to all sorts of space on the byline. Picks out the back post. And Dalgard having a swing at it. And Milan punching over. Sort of off balance, otherwise he probably could have caught it. Instead, it will be a corner for Hartford Athletic.
It's a curious decision by Milan, isn't it, to push this up over the bar. As you mentioned, he had already started his movement to his left-hand side, tracking back this volley. coming over. Nice little ball in by Harry Schwartz. Dalgard goes to the ground first and keeps the keeper second guessing. Very difficult to handle for the goaltender, and as you can see, better safe than sorry, just pushes it up over the top.
Now a Hartford Athletic corner. Presented by Bank of America. Lofted in by Jorgensen. And again towards that back post, Gadula will let it run. But head out into the penalty area. Knotted down, Alex Dixon unmarked and onside, or easy. Assistant's flag up on the near side. Alex Dixon calmly firing into that bottom corner, but he was indeed offside. And here is Elliot Horde to enter. A bit surprised to see his name on the team sheet. He is listed with Sacramento Republic. Hadn't seen any evidence of him no longer being with that club, but make his Hartford Athletic debut tonight.
The team actually had a press release just before kickoff that said that they were loaning him for the rest of the season. Now, Sacramento Republic still retain the rights to Elliot Horde, but a guy who hasn't necessarily fallen out of favor, but the pecking order for the Quails has become much more evident over the past month and a half or so, where Simon Elliott has decided to go with pretty much a 14 or 15-man rotation that no longer includes Elliot Horde. So a chance for him to continue to put some miles on the odometer, and a guy that Jimmy Nielsen has the highest regard for, and Simon Elliott obviously trusts his player with him.
And Horde now coming forward straight away. Let's step overs now towards that byline, picks out a decent cross. Jorgensen arriving, that's more like it. It's Sebastian Dalgard, I should say, with a lovely volleyed effort. And both Jorgensen and Dalgard, the Danes, with some wonder strikes in the second half, and Hartford comfortably in front now by 4-1.
This is pretty similar to what you saw from Harry Schwartz and Dalgard just a moment ago. First time around, Dalgard didn't take it as vertical, brought it off the pitch and used it to his advantage to try and go after it. Lefty Milan. Goalkeeper pushed that one over the top. This time much more direct, a lot of pace behind the ball. Just put your laces on it, put it on the 8x8, hope for the best. This one ends up in the back of the net in emphatic fashion.
Decent introduction as well for Elliot Horde. Come on, first minute, play across. That's an assist in your first match for Hartford.
Nice little 1v1 matchup. Quick little step over down to the end line. Serve up some beautiful distribution all the way to the back post. Done your job regardless if Dalgard puts that in or not. And Sergio Morales will now give an opportunity to one of the other boys to step in. Molinari getting the chance in front of Lefty Milan. Milan's day will be done.
Angel Molinari, the 19-year-old, enters. What a strike, though, from Sebastian Dalgard, who had 4 league goals. So all of the major goal scorers in the team tonight for Hartford on the score sheet, as the other change entering Mark Nieves, and for Gerald Diaz, the goal scorer on the day for Puerto Rico. It's been a bit more like it from Hartford Athletic in this second half. And now the scoreline reflects it.
This is one of the things that Jimmy Nielsen has talked to us about, where it's beautiful to watch now when you're up 4-1 and really cruising along. Unfortunately, his team tends to start a bit slow. Early on this season, about 4 or 5 games in, they spent a nice little job getting out of the gates early and just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Unfortunately, they spent too many games away from home, and that travel schedule really started to wear on them. The results got away. And could they replicate it now that they are starting to get some of these pieces together? A team that, outside of the disciplinary issues they've faced, whether you agree with the referee or not recently, has shown that they can play at a really high level. Most recently, New York Red Bull 2 for the better part of 55 minutes when they were out in front of the boys in the East sitting atop, like the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Just things going by the wayside here and there, and complications arose, and they were on the short end of the stick in a 5-1 loss.
Raymond Lee. Nice layoff there from Dixon. Unable to find the feet of Barrera. Nice interchange as Cardona tries to get to it. Raymond Lee tracking well. Now Hartford leading by 4-1. Jorgensen, Vucic, Angulo, and Dalgard. The scores on the day as it's decent work here from Harry Schwartz. Heavy sliding in effort there. Didn't look like a friendly at all for that exchange of sliding efforts. I think it was counted on the last in there, that fairly sizable chunk there out of Schwartz, and he stayed down.
It's a heavy challenge here coming in on Harry Schwartz. Calderon looking for some diplomatic immunity at the tail end of this match. Not exactly sure what that's going to do for international relations, but see how that works out for him.
I don't know if we need to put the fate of international diplomacy in the hands of this friendly, but
many a nation have.
Here's Williams. We have a loose ball there from Barrera, but still finding Jorgensen. Kadula forced to goal him back to Cody Cropper in goal. And his lack of involvement, you'd probably have to say he's been cropped out of the frame.
Easy. Take it easy. Plenty of time for this squad to get back into it.
There'll be a throw in here to Hartford. Hartford have really seized the initiative. Puerto Rico had a few decent moments in the second half, but strong performance in the USL Championship Club here in this second half as Dalgard playing to the feet of Schwartz. Nice bit of skill there, laying off for Williams, who wanted to have a first-time strike. The sliding tackle coming through there. Now Cabrero to break through Sidney Rivera here for Puerto Rico FC. He'll have to turn his back to allow teammates to come forward, and just played in between Rivera and Arce there. And to a throw-in for Hartford Athletic. Still drawing the plaudits from his manager, Elhi Morales, who said that was it. That was the right ball, that was the right idea. As now Rivera is gonna go down here. And now we'll have a couple of changes coming on here. And a really cool story entering the match is Cody Cropper will come off. Lisick will enter in goal, but Hartford Athletic debut for Sal Di Tommaso. He'll enter for Sebastian Dalgard, and Devin, a really good story entering the field now for Jimmy Nielsen in the form of Di Tommaso.
The local player from Farmington, Connecticut, and so he actually works at the training facility where Hartford Athletic train on a regular basis. One of the front desk guys, and I asked Jimmy Nielsen, I said, how did this come about? He said, listen, we saw him working out. It was simple as that. He had some one-on-one sessions and was playing with some of the local guys. We invited him to come train with us. Over the better part of about a month, they became impressed. They brought him in more often. Started getting regular reps within their trainings. And the next thing you know, he's a full-time guy who was just kind of sitting around doing everything right except getting a paycheck. And he said, you know, we got to do right by this guy. Great opportunity for Sal Di Tommaso Jr., who came out of Central Connecticut State, transferred to New Haven. Actually, right after college, finished and became a grad assistant, then an assistant coach with the University of New Haven. Coaches locally, got his D license, so he's kind of a very well-rounded player who's, you know, expanded his thought process from just his playing days, but now an opportunity to continue on and start getting repetitions at the professional level.
A really cool story. We'll slide in on that left-hand side for Hartford Athletic where Dalgard was. And all those substitutions, including the one of Di Tommaso in for Dalgard, presented by 4G Recycling. Nice tackle in there from Schwartz, and now charging forward Dixon as Barrera and Schwartz with him. Dixon sorting out his options. He looks like he was going to go it alone through the penalty area. Now peel back, and we'll have a second bite at it, Dixon. Now here is Barrera, his strike. This less favored right goes blazing over, but still a strong effort from the native of Thousand Oaks, California.
Alex Dixon just didn't really have the best of options on the tail end of this run. What you're not seeing is Danny Barrera actually starts to make his run to the left-hand side. Harry Swartz had already started that look, closing down extra space, and he had no option on the right-hand side. That's why Alex Dixon does make the decision to continue to the near side of your picture. And unfortunately, the attack just got lost in translation.
Header comes here to Gadula, just tries to send it up the line, and will be a throw into Hartford. See the counter-attack. Dixon did have the options as well to play it towards the left as Swartz is making that run. This was Barrera, but wanted to sort of take it through that area on his own. Vega. Arce and Cabrero working down that left-hand side. And a couple more changes being prepared. Looks like Walter Rodriguez and Kevin Hernandez are being prepared. A couple of another under-20 national team players. Hernandez, one of the players playing collegiately in the U.S. with Assumption College in Worcester. And here is Jacob Lissick, who's appeared 9 times in USL, 8 starts for Hartford. Boots it clear in relief of Cody Cropper. And there the substitute Horde trying to get to it. And here the double change sent on here by Elhi Morales. Rivera and O'Neill to make way for Rodriguez and Hernandez.
Substitutions for Puerto Rico. Entering the game, number 5.
And there the confirmations of the changes. Only players yet to appear: Felix Dawson and Carlos Matos still on the bench for Puerto Rico. And with back to goal, laying off the substitute Hernandez. He's hard to miss. And now slid in behind here. Nice work there from Zulia, but not too much on it for Cabrero. Not for the goal kick.
Number 15, Sidney Rivera. In the 82nd minute.
Hartford Athletic, I'd like to thank our founding partner, Stanley Black & Decker. Stay tuned each week for the Stanley Innovative Play of the Game. A few options for that as well. Is had some cracking goals scored in this one. As it's awkwardly at the back here from Puerto Rico, charging through the substitute, Di Tommaso. And out for the corner. Just a bit awkward there for Puerto Rico.
Molinari's gonna have nightmares about this coming out of the back. Just catches it on the downside of things and unfortunately puts too much angles on the ball. Almost gifts one back to Hartford Athletic.
Now the left-footed delivery is in towards Di Tommaso. Just a bit over him. And Puerto Rico just trying to keep the ball there, but it's poorly off the boot of Hernandez. Swartz. Swartz. Tackled off it by Villafania, and it is a free kick. The side in white and green. In off the right. Play it to the feet there of Barrera. Losing out, Trying to catch the keeper off his line there, Ryan Williams. Not sure what Molinari was trying to do, but Williams nearly catching him out, his effort wide. A little more than 5 minutes to play in this international friendly. Hartford Athletic, the USL Championship, second for bottom of the Eastern Conference, taking on the Puerto Rico National Team to start their campaign in CONCACAF Nations League in less than a month. September the 10th against Guatemala.
We had a pretty detailed conversation coming on that you couldn't keep making up your own months. So let's keep an eye on that, all right?
We'll work on that together. That's why we're a team.
It's a process. It's a process.
Dixon. Chipping over the top towards Barrera, who will play it across that penalty area first time. Owen and White making the run. It's given away there. Swartz now onto it, peeling it back. Gaping goal, and it's 5 for Hartford. Danny Barrera slotting in. And it's mistakes at the back, affording Hartford the opportunities, and there, Barrera making no mistake. Swartz with the industry to create that chance.
You take a look at Harry Swartz's collegiate numbers, 71 appearances, 5 goals, and 5 assists. That was from the striking position. A lot of times he found himself drifting outside of the comfort zone in the middle of the field and getting into these one-on-ones where he had to be the distributor. And that's exactly what you get out of this. Nice little press from Harry Swartz. Recognizes that on the backside of things, he's actually got Danny Barrera, who is going to help in the press, playing the high line. Difficult finish for Barrera to bring this across his body and go and challenge the goalkeeper to the far post. Really well done with the 1-2 punch of those boys up top.
Now Hartford leading by 5 goals to 1 in this friendly, trying to strike quickly once more. They'll get another chance out of here through Barrera. They'll lay it off here for Swartz, who just wanted to let it run, but good step there. And for Puerto Rico, it's not giving away as many goals as they did in the whole of their Nations League qualifying campaign. Trying to figure out the attacking side of things, but still have to keep it tight at the back, which they did in fairness to them in qualifying. Only giving up 5 goals in 4 games, just converting on the score sheet, but you see the quality that Hartford has in putting them to the sword.
LG Morales isn't going to think too much into it. He's going to be frustrated with the fact they weren't able to necessarily maintain their shape for the full 90 in its entirety. So that the opening 45 minutes was not bad whatsoever. As we mentioned, plenty of opportunity for the youngsters to,
as Nieves has a strike, wide of target.
Give their manager a reason to think about stuff for the future. Some of the big names like Andres Cabrero coming on, and Devin Vega get an opportunity to represent his country once again. He's actually with the U.S. Youth National Team for quite some time. He's actually on the U17 team that Christian Pulisic played for. So pretty good pedigree behind Devin Vega, a guy that currently on a Phoenix Rising contract in the USL Championship, being loaned to the League One affiliate in FC Tucson. They say that he's pretty impressive on the offensive side of things. You can see that. Likes to dance on the ball. Really good in one-on-one situations, but defensively, can he make the transition? I think they've understood where that question needs to be asked more regularly, especially when he's isolated out on the left-hand side. More of an interior player for sure, and LG Morales just giving him a different look, see what he could do with it.
Ball will sprayed there by Vega. Cardona. Final minute of the 90 here, this international friendly. And it's dinked in behind. A free kick here for Puerto Rico. As the tackle came in.
The Kevin Hernandez makes a beeline for this thing. He wants to hit it. Why not? Minute to go. Jacob Lissick throw 2-3 men on the wall from this distance and take his chances on the backside of things.
And a free kick here. Struck came off the wall, appeals for hands off Alex Dixon. Referee waving away. I think they have a right to ask. We will not have any stoppage time as Hartford Athletic hang on to a comprehensive victory. 5 different goal scorers. And there is the full-time whistle on this international friendly. Hartford Athletic with a solid victory by 5-1 here in this friendly in the middle of league play. They go back to work against Atlanta United 2 at this stadium next Saturday night. But at full time, it's Hartford Athletic 5 and the Puerto Rico National Team 1.
And most importantly, we just got to remember that this is for a good cause, and the relief efforts in Hurricane Maria, as we mentioned before, a portion of tonight's tickets going to that relief fund. Hurricane that struck just 2 weeks after Hurricane Irma came to town, and an opportunity for LG Morales. Take a look at some of the younger players within his organization, collegiate and professional alike. And Jimmy Nielsen, get his boys some confidence going forward. Maybe a ridiculous run down the stretch can put them back into the talking point of the Eastern Conference.
It's going to bring you our Stanley Black & Decker play of the game, and it has to be this strike from Mads Jorgensen from central midfield. Pick that out.
Ridiculous. Honestly, watch the ball. Does not move. Rotation off the strike itself, but it's knuckling to the bottom corner the entire time. Both goalkeepers, Molinari and Milan, on the backside of things had a little bit of fun. There's Devin Vega and Logan Gadula. As we mentioned, Devin Vega, youngster just 20 years of age. Coming from San Antonio FC, then to Phoenix Rising. Logan Gadula, 22. The highly touted FC Cincinnati draft pick of the 2019 MLS draft, number 13 overall, but on loan quite a few times, but still getting some repetitions at his young professional career. Good for him.
A great night out for these fans, but for Hartford Athletic, a much needed victory, even in a friendly. Gives some confidence to particularly the 5 goal scorers as it finishes on the night. Hartford Athletic 5, Puerto Rico 1. Hartford Athletic beat Puerto Rico on the night by 5-1. Great night out for a great cause as well. One of the big communities of Puerto Ricans in the United States is Hartford, and so why not invite them, raise some money for charity, for Puerto Rican causes, and a fun night out for these fans. And Hartford as well, getting a victory by 5-1. It was a comprehensive display on the night from Jimmy Nielsen's men. 5 different goal scorers, including some of the key figures in this Hartford side. As we can now bring you full-time highlights of this one. As first we will bring you our Cigna man of the match, Vucek Vucic, with the opening goal for Hartford Athletic and involved in a lot of what was good for them leading the line. And that is our man of the match, which is brought to you by Cigna. You can vote for the Cigna man of the match on Twitter using the hashtag Cigna MOTM. As now, let's go ahead and show you those full-time highlights and all the goals from this one. Chris Whittingham, Devin Kerr here for the commentary. Here would be the opening goal for Hartford, given away at the back by lefty Milian. Dalgard would find Vucic for the opening goal, calmly slotted into that bottom corner there. And solid work from our Cigna man of the match. But here would be the equalizer. Puerto Rico would have a moment of attack as the ball will be played towards that back post. Across the penalty area from Ryan Lopez and knotted in by Gerald Diaz. Nice header, and Cody Cropper rooted to his spot as Puerto Rico would equalize. But then in the second half, the chances would come. First from the penalty spot, the tackle in there from Nicolas Cardona, taking out Sebastian Dalgard. And Jose Angulo with his left, keep it the wrong way, and giving Hartford a lead that they would not relinquish. Well taken by the number 9 for Hartford here. A cracking third goal. Lovely hit from Mats Jorgensen into that bottom corner. And Jorgensen adding to Hartford's lead with a wonder strike. We'd have another one of those here. The substitute Elliot Horde towards the back post. Another sensational volley there. Sebastian Dalgard getting his reward for a terrific performance. A goal, assist, won a penalty, and gets that cracking 4th goal for Hartford Athletic. And then just to make sure, passing out of the back, Harry Swartz causing a few problems. There's a poor touch there from Calderon at the back, and Danny Barrera with a gaping goal to aim at. Finds that bottom corner, and Hartford on the night would win by 5-1. Again, this match benefiting Puerto Rico, Hurricane Maria relief efforts, and also a portion of the ticket sales going to the San Juan Center in Hartford. And so many fans enjoying themselves, wearing their Puerto Rican colors, bringing their flags. In the end, see their home side win tonight by 5-1 for Hartford. Next time out, it's at home as they take on Atlanta United. 2 tickets at hartfordathletic.com or at the Hartford Athletic ticket office. That's next Saturday night against Atlanta United 2 from 5 p.m. Puerto Rico head to the CONCACAF Nations League in less than a month. But at full time tonight, it finishes Hartford Athletic 5 and the Puerto Rico National Team 1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.